Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. This is Epic Drone Show Live. Let me check. I think this is episode 35, episode 3-5. That's right. So we've had quite a few. I wanted to have another live show soon, and fortunately I've been graced with that opportunity. I've been doing some work in the studio, trying to get the the network and the lighting, and I think I finally, after a lot of effort, accomplished that. So I see a lot of people trickling in. We got Jason. Hello, welcome Jason. We've got Stephen. Hello from Australia. The land down under. That's very cool. And that was I don't know if it was you or another person on the channel earlier today. They were commenting about, hey man, come to New Zealand, come to Australia, and I'm like, yeah, that's a part of the world I've never been to, but I definitely want to go there because it looks really cool, and especially from a drone perspective. I mean, it looks like some amazing spots to to fly a drone. So, oh, there's Sean Coonery. He's coming in. Hey, Sean Coonery, how are you doing? Don't knock the camera over because we are live. This is a live broadcast. So, Bruno, welcome aboard from Brazil. We got an international crowd today. We got Australia, we got Brazil. Hey, Sean Coonery, you've got to. He's rubbing against the laptop. He jumped on the table here where I'm doing the live broadcast. Is the audio and the video, is it acceptable? Can you hear me? Can you see me? I know there may be a little bit of shake because of Sean Coonery on the table, but that's what I'm over here. I'm rubbing his head. Hey, you gotta calm down for this show. Steven says, no, not me, mate. Someone else, but if you decide to come to Townsville. Very cool. Okay, so we've got, excuse me. Hey, Sean Coonery, excuse me, sir. He's, you can see his ears on the camera there. Franklin says, recently got my Phantom 3 Standard, and it's so much fun. Yeah, that's the thing about drones. I mean, they're absolute. It's an absolute blast. And the thing about it, there's no other hobby that I'm aware of that's as cool as flying a drone. And I mean, that's it's a unique experience. It's a very intuitive experience. Obviously, it's a safe experience. If you know what you're doing and you go out to the field and you're familiar with your aircraft and your surroundings, it can be a very fun and rewarding experience, not only for yourself, but for others. And that's what makes drones, so exciting. Hey, Sean Coonery, can you move over here? No, that's tripod. That's camera. You can't touch that. Either you need to sit down or you need to leave the studio. Okay. So sit. Yep, there you go. That's good. He said he's going to come over here. So, so big news, huge news. The 11th of October, we're going to see something epic. And I'm completely convinced if I miss... There you go. Sit, please. Thank you. We're going to see something epic on October the 11th. And my complete whoa, not the tripod. You're going to have to get down. Jump. There you go. Thanks. Okay, now there we go. So, yeah, on October the 11th, we're going to experience something very epic from DJI. And I know there's a lot of rumors floating around, and they're like, hey man, is it going to be, is it going to be the Spark 2? Is it going to be Spark, next version? Is it going to be the Mavic Pro 2? Is it going to be the Phantom 5? And there's a lot of theories that we have, and there's a lot of theories that we share. And based upon what I've seen historically, and based upon what I feel is missing from a from a business perspective, what do they not have that they need? And I think what we're probably going to see. Franklin says, I live in Vancouver and I'm going to make a collab of footage once I get enough. Very cool. And Bruno says, Albuquerque, very good, Franklin. Very cool, thank you. So yeah, I think what we're going to see on the 11th. Sorry, I got fur on my screen from Sean Connery. What we're going to see on the 11th is going to be something. It's not going to be a different color of a drone. It's not going to be a Phantom 4 Pro Obsidian. It's not going to be a Mavic Pro Platinum. It's not going to be something insignificant like we saw there, but it's going to be something game-changing. And I'm completely confident that what we will see on October the 11th is probably going to involve more than just the drone itself. I think we're going to see a detachable camera, not just a modular camera that you can pop one off and pop another one on, but a modular camera where someone can take that camera away from the drone, hand hold it, possibly mount it to something else. Where I'm going with this is that they're positioning themselves, in my opinion, to compete with GoPro. GoPro's always been the action camera leader. They've got all the mounts. That's one of the strongest appeals for using GoPro is that, once you get the camera, you buy a bunch of mounts, and after you bought those mounts, at least up until now, they've continued to work with most of the newer model GoPro cameras. So it's great to be able to buy the camera and then buy all the accessories as funds permit. But then when a new camera comes out, if you upgrade, there's a heightened probability that you'll likely be able to use some, if not all, of those mounts for the newer model GoPro camera. And with GoPro just releasing the Hero 6 Black, which will do 4K 60, which is huge, but also GoPro about to release GoPro Fusion, a very serious spherical camera that may be able to break the, we've seen a lot of spherical cameras, but they've been super expensive or they've been so low end that it hasn't really caught on. And I think the spherical video is likely about to catch on because Apple's embracing it fully. In December of 2017, Apple is supposed to unveil a very huge VR 360 degree spherical 360 camera. All the terminology can be used somewhat interchangeably, but the fact of the matter is that Apple wants people to use their devices, and they want people to use their features that they bring to the playing field. So with Apple being gung-ho VR, that would seem to suggest that that GoPro releasing the Fusion in November, they're going to likely become the community leader for consumer friendly from both an ease of use perspective and also from a cost perspective. They'll likely become the #1 VR camera for 2017. So DJI being a drone company, but not just a drone company, they've gotten into the tablet space. They've got their devices built into the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, but they've also got a camera that's not plagued by the fisheye. The fisheye being that it looks like it's rounded when you're watching the video. You watch a video that's filmed in 4K 30 with a Phantom 3 Pro, Phantom 4, Phantom 4 Pro, you'll notice how good that 4K video looks. It's not like you're looking through a fisheye. It doesn't have that curve to it. And that's something that GoPro hasn't been able to get past. But I think what we're about to see on the 11th, I think we're about to see DJI come out and say, you know what? We bought Hasselblad. We acquired Hasselblad, or however you pronounce it, super duper high-end camera company. And a company seldom acquires another company if they don't have a solid business plan in front of them. So it would always seem to make sense that if I'm a drone company and I'm acquiring one of the most high-end camera companies in the world, that I'm going to integrate certain elements from that camera company's technology into my products. And I think it's going to be interesting because from a serious photographer or videographer's perspective, there's probably a lot of people that may feel that the acquisition by DJI may cheapen up their brand. Historically, Hasselblad has been a huge ultra high end. I mean, these are cameras that, you know, you look at, say for example, Sony or Panasonic high end cameras. As far as price is concerned, the Hasselblads are just so much more expensive. So, you know, from someone in the past that was using that technology, they're probably a little bit scared because they're like, man, DJI, this drone company out of, where are they out of? Shenzhen, China or somewhere. They acquired Hasselblads. It's probably going to cheapen up the brand. And that's, you know, that's an acceptable statement. But looking at it from a drone hobbyist perspective, us drone hobbyists have just gotten access to one of the world's leading camera manufacturers. And without a doubt, DJI is the #1 drone manufacturer in the world. So when you think about it from that perspective, how could it potentially benefit a drone hobbyist? Well, now we've got a drone that already had awesome cameras. You know, Phantom 3 Pro, even back to Phantom 2 Vision Plus. I mean, sure, it was 1080p, but it was nice. It was gimbal stabilized. The image quality was good. But I mean, think about it now. You know, taking the next step and having. Jesus says, "Hello, Irix. Congrats for all your videos. Very interesting. Salute from California. Welcome aboard. Thanks for thanks for your viewership, and more importantly, thanks for tuning in live. Because if you're watching this at approximately 6 p.m. New York City time, this is a live show. So what you type in the video comments, I can see, and we can chat about it. But yeah, the big focal point for today's live show is DJI's launch event on the 11th of October. So I mean, I think we're about to see something huge, and I mean, it's easy to assemble all the clues. You know, the acquisition of Hasselblad, or however you pronounce the brand. I'm probably butchering it, but who cares? But that acquisition in itself, and then looking at the other industry leaders, action camera leader, GoPro, coming out with GoPro Fusion, and then also Apple with, we're rolling out VR capabilities into Final Cut Pro 10 this year. You've got all of these things, all these synergies, and if I'm selling something, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. So if I'm selling a bicycle, and I've designed this bicycle where it's got like 28, let's just say something crazy, like 28 water bottle mounts. I want to have somebody that creates water bottles that'll make my bicycle look better. Likewise with Apple, fully embracing VR, 360-degree spherical, whatever you want to call it, video editing. Video editing that's not just looking where the camera looks, but editing a video where that video is all around the person filming the video. They want people to use their tools. They want people to use their hardware. So when you've got GoPro entering that game, you've already got DJI, and I don't think DJI is going to step out. I think what we're going to see on the 11th is definitely going to be a drone. It's definitely going to have 4K or better video, but I think it's going to amplify the quality to the degree that none of us have ever experienced before, because that acquisition of Hasselblad, that's provided them with technologies that they didn't previously have, because they didn't. I mean, it was another company, ultra high end company, but imagine how good Phantom 3 Pro, Phantom 4, Phantom 4 Pro, how good that video quality is, the image quality, and imagine how good it's going to be once they start introducing those technologies into the drone cameras. So yeah, I mean, I think October the 11th, we've been in kind of a stale state with drones. Again, we got this year we got the Spark. Spark is cool, it's fun, but it tops out at 1080p. It's not something that's going to thoroughly entertain someone like myself that's fully embraced 4K video. And on the cusp of holiday shopping season, I think we're going to see this 10/11 announcement from DJI is going to be huge. Now, obviously, stay tuned to epicdroneshow.com. That's my website. I'm going to post everything there. We're going to have follow-up live shows. We're going to get everybody together and talk about what was released on 10/11 after the 10/11 launch event. Because, you know, it's if it's a disappointing release like the Mavic Pro Platinum and the Phantom 4 Pro Obsidian, we'll talk about it. It'll be disappointing. But I sincerely do not feel that the 1011 launch event is going to be disappointing in any way. I think it's going to be something that is going to put us back on a playing field full of excitement. You know, we've been in this kind of dull phase for the past few months. We haven't seen anything incredibly different, and I think we're about to see that. Bruno says, here in Brazil, it's difficult to have GoPro. Actually, it's very difficult to have even a Phantom. We have to work hard to do this. Yeah, I bet logistically, you know, being in another country, I bet it does become challenging to get access to you know, to those tools and those toys. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be, yeah, this launch event on 10/11, I firmly feel, and if I'm wrong, tell me, but I firmly feel that 10/11 launch event is going to be huge. So I mean, it's not far away. Today is the 7th, so the 11th is. Let me pull open a calendar here. So the 11th will be Wednesday. So needless to say, go ahead and mark your calendars for it'll probably be around, if I had to guess, probably around 8, maybe around 8 p.m. New York City time on the 11th. I'll have a live show and we can get together on this Epic Drone Show and talk about it. But yeah, I mean, it is going to be huge. And if it's not, then I was totally incorrect, and you know, and I'll accept that. So what else do we have? I know we've got, you know, 10/11 launch event, which is kind of it's kind of outshining everything right now. But is there anything else that's new? You know, maybe from a competitor. Is there anybody out there that has actually been able to create something that's created some buzz? I mean, it's, you know, I know in the past we had the would-be competitors, and they stepped up and they delivered their product, and then those products you probably don't even hear about nowadays. So it's disappointing that we don't have a true DJI competitor yet. I mean, I love DJI products, but even though I do, I don't think it's optimal to not have any competition out there. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, it's but I think this studio, I'm looking in the viewfinder here, I think I finally have achieved the correct settings. It was funny that the camera in the studio the last time, it was it had these lines that were going through the video, and I had to adjust the camera settings, but I think it's finally okay. That's great. So do y'all think there's any chance that we'll see a Spark with a 4K camera anytime soon, or is that a long shot? I don't think the Spark's what we're going to see on 10/11, because, you know, for holiday shopping season, that being the time of year when consumers likely have the most disposable cash stockpiled, I think it would be tough for them to release an updated version of the Spark before Christmas. But, you know, I mean, I may be wrong. Renee says video feed looks great. Appreciate that. Actually, I had a very expensive studio upgrade today. I did it was around $29 US. It's a softbox for one of the key lights. So it's, and see, I know my face looks all shiny. I've got to fix that. But I think the key light, the softbox for that has really helped. It's toned down the brightness where it doesn't look washed out. Yeah, and this is only, I think I'm only broadcasting at 720p. I've tried the 1080p, and I may try the 1080p again because, you know, with these enhancements, I think it may be able to do it. Fly High Guy says a Phantom 2 Black is coming. That's funny. That is funny. Yeah, it's going to be interesting next week, and what I'm hoping is that I hope they, you know, whatever's released, I hope it's not a situation where we have to wait until, you know, hopefully it goes on sale immediately, and that's something I want to point out. When it does, obviously I'll have all the product links on epicdroneshow.com, so if you're a fan of my channel, be sure to go to epicdroneshow.com and find the links there to order. Obviously, if you're planning to order, do that. That would be cool. But yeah, it's going to be great to have something new, and maybe it'll be something so new that it's not just a camera upgrade. It's not just a it's not something insignificant. Hopefully, it'll be something major. Not so major that it jumps outside of the DNA of DJI, but hopefully it's something so different that when we take it out and play with it, being drone hobbyists, when we take it out and play with it, hopefully it'll be something that'll be rewarding from an entertainment perspective. And that's one of the big wishes here that I have. Because like the Spark, for example, I had fun with the Spark, but it wasn't radically different. Yeah, it was smaller, and it didn't really bring anything new to the table. I mean, it didn't even have 4K video, but it brought enhanced portability, which was cool. But the battery life, they need to figure out with the Spark platform. They definitely need to figure out a way to improve the battery life, because if you're doing it for a selfie shot, the battery life of the Spark would be acceptable. If you want to fly it with your smartphone, just go several feet away and maybe film a quick video in 1080p and snap a photo. The Spark would be acceptable. But I think when you get the Spark with a controller, I think that's trying to take the Spark into an arena that the current battery life doesn't make it, in my opinion, doesn't make it an acceptable candidate for that role. So, that being said, I think when we do see the next Spark, and I don't think we're going to see it on 1011, I think that's going to be something completely new, completely different, and not very high end. I hope that what we see comes in under the $1,000 US mark, but yeah, I think we will see a new Spark, and I think when we do see that, I think two of the biggest things, number one, will be battery life. Number two will be 4K video. And once we get that, I think we're gonna see some really cool applications that people will identify for those smaller and more lightweight drones. Sean Coonery's in the studio. He got off of the desk because he was trying to rub against his camera, and you can't have that because it'll degrade the quality of this live broadcast. But yeah, I mean, this is it's the 7th of October. That's 8, 9, 10. 3 more full days to wait for the announcement from DJI. And then it's going to get exciting. And if it's not exciting, then I'm going to be very irritated, because it would be inexcusable, in my opinion, for a company such as DJI to not release something super solid on the cusp of 2017 holiday season. So, and I'm hoping for that Hasselblad technology, and again, if that's where it goes, and they introduce that technology to us for the first time after their acquisition of Hasselblad, and it's overpriced, that's going to be stupid. That they're going to have to bring this to us in a price point at or below the current price point for their existing drone models. And I don't think there's any reason why why these drones shouldn't all be below $1,000 US mark. I mean, understand why they're not, because they don't have any true competition. But I mean, they should be. Fly High Guy says, looking at the video might just be a part of some sort of action camera to compete with GoPro. Well, that's a valid statement, but the fact that the teaser video is also showing the aerial portion, you know, again, I think what we're going to see is something like the GoPro Karma, where it's a drone, but it's also a handheld action camera. I think we're going to see something like that, except in this scenario, they'll execute very well. Whereas GoPro, in my opinion, failed with the GoPro Karma. It was good on paper, but as far as the execution of the product, I think they did a very poor job. You know, despite, let's say the recall hadn't even occurred, if you were seriously asked, okay, do you want to fly a Phantom 3 Pro, a Phantom 4, a Phantom 4 Pro, or a Mavic Pro, or do you want to use GoPro Karma instead? My assumption is that a lot of people would want to go with the DJI products just because they don't have to deal with the fisheye. And you know, there's nothing, you know, with the GoPro Karma, even though it folds up, this, that, and the other, and you can use the you know, take the GoPro off and use it for other applications, you're still not getting the portability. You're still not getting the I mean, obviously range, you know, you need to fly line of sight to be safe and responsible, but you're not getting the range, the FPV transmission quality. You're not getting a lot of aspects with it that you do the DJI products. So, you know, I think what we're going to see from DJI on 1011 will be something, you know, to your point. Now, is it going to be a waterproof and ruggedized camera? They're going to take it that far. Is DJI going to take it that far to where they want to compete with GoPro in the action camera arena? Or are they simply going to give us a drone with a non-waterproof, non-water resistant camera that can be detached and handheld and gimbal stabilized? I mean, you know, what are they going to bring us? That's the big what if, the big unknown. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's... There are a lot of unknowns right now, that's for sure. But what is certain is that on 1011, there's going to be a big announcement, and it shouldn't disappoint. So yeah, without further ado, I just wanted to touch base with everyone. We're about a half hour in. You know, come back, stay tuned, epicdroneshow.com, because I'm going to be all over this. Obviously, whatever is released, you know, you'll be able to find all of that here on epicdroneshow.com. Renee says maybe add zoom capabilities. You know, zoom, that's highly plausible, and that's that the possibility of that occurring is amplified due to the fact that some of the Osmo cameras, they added zoom capabilities to that. Even though they've added zoom to the Osmo, to some of the Osmo models, we haven't seen zoom on a Phantom or a Mavic Pro yet. So that's highly plausible. You know, maybe a camera that's modular and also has a zoom capability. You know, that would be useful. It really would be. And the other thing is, do we think that we'll see a camera on a DJI drone that has audio for the first time? Because we're not getting audio with our Phantom 4 and our Phantom 3 Pro and our Mavic Pro. We're not getting audio. And I mean, would audio even be needed? I don't... Jamie says, man, you sure have the green screen dialed in. When I first opened the video, I wondered where you were. Very cool, man. Yeah, that's my huge... I mentioned earlier, I had a huge upgrade to the studio, about $29 US. I got this diffuser for my key light. My key light's right in front of me, and I got this diffuser on it, and it makes the light look less harsh. So I appreciate the feedback, and that's that's what I got to do. I got to make this studio. Once I get the lighting and everything perfected, then we're going to take this show to the next level, have multiple sets, and just make it really cool. So I appreciate the feedback. So yeah, this thing is 10/11. That is going to be the day where really cool things happen. Very cool stuff. Let's see what's going on here. Man, we got a ton of people tuned in too. Yeah, this is really cool, and it's fun to speculate what's about to release, but without a doubt, it's going to be more exciting to play with that new tech when it arrives in the studio. So I mean, that's the, and again, I'm not going after something that's hype for no reason. I mean, I had no desire to get the Mavic Pro Platinum. I had no desire to get the Phantom 4 Pro Obsidian. It was stupid. I mean, they're good. No, don't get me wrong, they're good drones. But are they an upgrade? In my opinion, they're not. So for that reason, I didn't even unbox them, review them, or anything. I mean, it would have been ignorant for me to have picked those up because they're not anything new. But I think what we're going to see on 10/11 is going to be something very new. And that's, it's going to be again, it's a tough wait because today's the 7th. It's going to be a long wait till 10/11, but it's fun to talk about it and get geared up for what should release, and that's the big unknown, and it's going to be good, and if it's not good, then I'm a fool. So I'll acknowledge that. Fly Guy says, some people got sugar plums in their head. We got drones. That's right, we got drones. Drones are something that, they're not brand new anymore. They've been around for a while, but we're still in the infancy of drone technology. Jamie says, I'm late to the game. What are you looking at getting next? Well, again, on today's date, October the 7th of 2017, my favorite drone is still the Phantom 4, just the regular Phantom 4. And the reason being is that, even the intro and the outro for this live show, I filmed it with the Phantom 4. It's rock solid, 4K 30, good image quality, good stability. I didn't have to do the tap to focus, which is stupid. So, to have that drone and to have something that is just a rock solid performer, I know I can get consistently excellent video. Again, that's my primary reason for a drone, is to capture really cool video for YouTube and to have fun with it. So, like you said, Jamie, still using the Phantom 3 Pro. I see no reason to upgrade from Phantom 3 Pro. I mean, the Phantom 4, if you didn't already have a drone, then I would say, okay, go with Phantom 4. Well, why go with Phantom 4 over Phantom 3 Pro? Well, the Phantom 4, it's got a better structural design, in my opinion. The gimbal assembly is a little bit better. But when you look at the video, if you look at 4K 30 from a Phantom 3 Pro and 4K 30 from a Phantom 4, it would be hard for anyone to distinguish between the two. If there's any sort of difference, any sort of visual difference, it's negligible at best. So, for that reason, I think on today's market, I think with the Phantom 3 Pro, you've got the perfect platform. Now, obviously, for a new buyer, they would probably want to go with Phantom 4 just so they can use the new batteries. As the drone becomes a little bit older, the accessories, the batteries, etc., become a little bit harder to come by. So, for that reason, I would say, you're where you need to be. You've got a great drone, great video quality. No reason to upgrade. I mean, you've got in my opinion, you've got some of the best tech out there right now. So, yeah, and I think one of the big differences, we saw, with Phantom 4 Pro, obviously it brought 4K 60, but it brought us 4K 60 with that annoying tap to focus requirement. And I think the next thing, with the Hasselblad, DJI's Hasselblad acquisition, I think we're going to start to see some really cool video and photo capabilities that probably in our wildest dreams we couldn't imagine would exist. And I think that's where we're, think about it from this perspective. Hasselblad ultra high-end camera, they probably had a very limited customer base because it was so high-end, it was so expensive. So maybe this is a positive for Hasselblad as well, because they're like, well, we've got all of this know-how when it comes to ultra high-end optics and and video and photo capabilities, this, that, and the other. Why don't we take our technology and shrink it into the drone platform, and also shrink the price significantly, so we can target, if say for example, it doesn't have to be a camera or whatever, but you've got a product that's just astronomically priced, and let's say 10 people buy that product, but because of the price it's still profitable because you're making so much. Well, think about this: reduce the price, make it more, make it accessible by more customers, and more than likely they can likely become more profitable because they're selling more units. Because it's more affordable, they've got a larger target audience. So, maybe that's the direction that Hasselblad is going after being acquired by DJI. So, and again, for that reason also, I feel that what we're going to see on 1011 is a significant photo and video upgrade for drones, something that we have not even thought about. I think it's going to be really cool. Bruno says, very good, Jamie. I passed 6 months with the standard version and now with advanced version. And in my next upgrade, I will change to Phantom 4. Yeah, Phantom 4 is great. Renee says, wouldn't you agree if they added a Hasselblad camera and it may put a lot of us out of our price range? I don't, and that's the what if. I mean, not the what if, but the unknown. And I think from a pure sales perspective, they can't, because they can't alienate their primary target audience, and that's your DJI Phantom consumer. You can't come out with something that's so high end that your Phantom consumer can't afford to buy it, because then they're going to damage their business model. Now I know DJI's released the Inspire and the Inspire 2 and all that, which I have no interest in whatsoever. It's too big, it's too heavy, and on top of that, it's too expensive. But maybe they, instead of having their branded camera, X5 or whatever it's called, hanging below an Inspire, maybe they get a Hasselblad that goes in the place of that. I think that could work. But I think what we're going to see on 1011, gearing up for the holiday shopping season, I think it's going to have to be something that's that any existing Phantom consumer could easily be able to go out and buy. They could afford to purchase the new tech. And I if I'm wrong, Fly High Guy says there was rumor of a Phantom 5 price tag $2,400 plus. That's insane. That's ridiculous. And if that comes out, that will not be something that I'll feature on my channel, because it's just stupid. There's no reason today why drones can't be below the $1,000 US price point rather. So I mean, it's they can, if they want to try to get cocky with their selling strategy, if they want to put these inflated price tags on these new drone models, this, that, and the other, I'm not even going to play part of that hobby anymore. I mean, that's ignorant. We're drone hobbyists, and we enjoy doing what we do, and it needs to be affordable technology. I mean, it's still expensive, don't get me wrong, it's super expensive, but it doesn't need to be artificially inflated, if that makes sense. But yeah, if that happens, yeah, Fly High Guy, if that happens, you won't see it on this channel, that's for sure. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We we can speculate, but the bottom line is that we don't know what's going to happen on 10/11. But if we keep a positive attitude and hope for the best, maybe it'll be something good. Maybe it'll be a true positive, and not something that we try to say, oh, that's cool. Again, looking back at Mavic Pro Platinum and Phantom 4 Pro Obsidian, I'm sure there are a lot of people that try to convince themselves that this is cool and this is necessary. And I'm sure there are people that did do that. But the reality is that it wasn't cool and it wasn't necessary. Yeah, good products. A different colored drone of something that's already good. I mean, those are both good platforms, but I think it's just really stupid that, a lot of people, inevitably, they probably fell victim to the marketing hype. And they're like, man, I got to have this. This is so much better. And it's not. I'm not saying they're bad drones. I'm just saying they're not an upgrade, in my opinion. So, hopefully what we get on 10/11 is an actual upgrade and not a quote upgrade, if that makes sense. Yeah, but it's it's going to be a fun, I'm not just going to say a fun month, but I'm going to say a very fun end of the year, because we're going to have, when this hits, think about it this way. GoPro has already said that, the upcoming GoPro Fusion in November, at least when it's launched, it's not going to work with GoPro Karma. So, if GoPro Fusion is a success, if people embrace VR, 360-degree spherical, whatever you want to call it, video editing, then there's going to be the heightened demand for 360-degree spherical on a drone, which why we haven't seen it so far, I don't know. But that leads me to believe that GoPro, if the Fusion is a success, that we're going to see that Fusion technology packaged into an upcoming GoPro drone. Now, could the new GoPro drone be a serious threat to DJI? Without a doubt. And the reason being, GoPro has a huge fan base. And I think that, they've got a, just like Apple. Apple has its fanboys. GoPro has its fanboys. And I think if GoPro Fusion is a success, what only makes sense is that, well, it's cool. I can put it on my bicycle, my motorcycle. I can skydive with it, whatever. But ultimately, what's really going to sell is being able to have that product on a drone. And it's going to become a race and a chase. Who's going to get to the 360-degree spherical drone space first? I can understand not investing in technology that people are uncertain as to whether or not it'll be well perceived by the masses. I mean, so far, 360-degree spherical VR cameras have not been well perceived. They've been budget cameras that were lackluster performers. Like myself, I've got one. I don't have it in my pocket right now, but it's it's that little LG. I mean, it's proof of concept. It's decent quality, but it's nothing to watch and say, oh man, that looks good. But once you start getting the high quality there at an affordable price point for consumers, that's when 360 is either going to become embraced by the masses, or it's going to be another failed technology like 3D TV. We all remember 3D TV. We probably still have 3D TVs. That never went anywhere. But with Apple behind VR, 360-degree spherical, whatever you want to call it, with Apple behind VR wanting to promote the editing of VR content, I know that we're either going to see people adopt VR cameras and VR editing, or it's going to quickly become a thing of the past. And I think GoPro is smart from that perspective, because they're releasing a land-based camera, which is not as costly as having to design a new drone to accommodate 360-degree spherical capabilities. So my assumption is that if the land-based camera, the GoPro Fusion, if it functions well, I think we're going to see that tech packaged into the GoPro drone number 2. And hopefully, if they're smart, they will not call it Karma, because that was bad luck for them. They will come up with a completely new name, and GoPro could potentially release a drone that could become the #1 drone. if DJI isn't already prepared to chase GoPro, should GoPro release that new drone that does 360-degree spherical. And I understand why they're hesitating when it comes to packaging 360-degree capabilities into a drone, because they're unsure of what the market's reaction is going to be to 360-degree spherical content. But Apple is a very intelligent, forward-thinking company, and I don't feel that Apple would be all in with VR if they didn't feel there was a future for VR. So for that reason alone, I do firmly believe that we're going to see 360-degree camera on the drone, and I think that may be GoPro's opportunity to kind of step ahead of DJI and say, you know what, we got there first. We've got 360-degree drone, we've sold X blah 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 units, we're number one. And that could be GoPro's opportunity to surpass DJI when it comes to an aerial camera perspective. Will that happen? I don't know. I think DJI is smart enough to know that, in 10-11, when they announce their new product, I think they're going to be forward-thinking enough to say, okay, this is a drone that has a modular camera. We don't have the spherical camera yet, but you know what? This is a modular camera, so you can use the same aerial platform to fly that modular camera that should be released in the future. I think if DJI is smart, that's what they're going to do. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, the advanced is good. About drone video quality there. And again, I don't want to sound like a DJI fanboy, because I know a lot of people sometimes accuse me of being that, and I'll acknowledge, DJI is my favorite drone in the market today. I've acknowledged it multiple times. And Phantom 4, today's date, October the 7th of 2017, is my favorite drone. And it's my favorite drone just because it's somewhat affordable, somewhat portable. It's not too big, it's not too heavy. I would love to have the same capabilities in a Mavic Pro size platform. I would use that instead of the Phantom 4 if that was available. But the current Mavic Pro, it's just not quite as good as the Phantom 4 from a video quality perspective. Video image quality, video stability, it's just not as good. And if you haven't used either drone, you would probably use Mavic Pro and you say it's awesome, because it is. It's great. But it's not as good as the Phantom 4. And I guess for that reason I'm kind of snobby when it comes to drones. But yeah, that's what I did, Jamie. Jamie says, whatever happened to GoPro Karma? Did it just not do well against DJI? So GoPro Karma, and y'all can check out my videos on my channel. And again, I love GoPro. I've been using GoPro cameras since GoPro Hero 2. Great company, great customer service. Just a well-designed product, ton of mounting capabilities. And it was always in my head, when the GoPro drone was being first talked about, I firmly believed that GoPro drone was going to be a game changer. But what we got from GoPro's drone was a product that was quickly outshined, because when it was announced, DJI released the Mavic Pro, which was smaller, more lightweight, better video quality, wasn't plagued by the fisheye that you get with GoPro. Sure, you can put a GoPro camera in linear mode, but at least with the current firmware and the current cameras, you can't do linear mode with a GoPro in 4K. So if you're filming in 4K, there's currently no way to get rid of fisheye. So GoPro released the Karma. You can check out my field test videos. I was among one of the first people to purchase GoPro Karma. I liked it. I took it out. It came in a backpack. Backpack was nice quality, although I felt it was kind of gimmicky in execution. The controller for the GoPro Karma was super nice. It felt like a video game style. It had a built-in screen. It was very nice. It wasn't too big. It wasn't too heavy. The drone itself, when you put everything together, as far as size and weight from a travel perspective, you were pretty close to a Phantom 3 Pro or a Phantom 4. I mean, you're in the same ballpark. But what really killed GoPro Karma was that they had a recall. So GoPro, for safety reasons, that, and I don't check the exact verbiage with GoPro or whatever, but it was something along the lines of that that it could potentially fall out of the sky, which obviously that could be perceived as a huge potential safety hazard. So the product was recalled, so I had to ship my GoPro Karma back. I never got another one. I had no desire to get another one. And the primary reason for me not getting another GoPro after it was fixed and they re-released the GoPro Karma was that the Karma, even when it released, it was yesterday's tech. It was bigger than the Mavic Pro. It was, again, you got fisheye. With the Mavic Pro, you can film 4K 30 without fisheye. So it was an inferior technology. Now, sure, you had the convenience of sharing that GoPro that you also may use for swimming underwater, this, that, and the other. You had the luxury of sharing that same camera with a drone. But because of the price, now let's say hypothetically GoPro Karma, let's say the drone was, let's just say a couple $100. At that, if it hit that price point, it could be something that people could say, okay, I understand this isn't as capable as a DJI Phantom or a Mavic Pro, but for a few $100, it would kind of be convenient to have a flying GoPro mount. If they had marketed it from that perspective, I could see how it may have been semi-successful. But the price point that it has is just impossible for me. And again, my focus is video quality and video stability. And I can get rock solid 4K video with a Phantom 3 Pro or a Phantom 4 or a Phantom 4 Pro or even a Mavic Pro for that matter. So it's hard for me to use a product unless it's offered at an extreme discount. Again, if they had priced the GoPro Karma drone to be a couple $100, at that price point, someone could say, well, I'll use it as a flying mount. I think that's, but as expensive as it is, and to not have, even obviously fly line of sight to be safe and responsible, but to not have the range, the FPV transmission quality, blah blah blah, it's just hard to consider that it's hard for me to consider that as an option. Although I love GoPro, and I still love their action cameras. Don't get me wrong. Again, I've been using GoPro Hero 2 until present, but it's just not as good. Cooper Video Corp, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I got a ton of people tuning in. This is what's so cool about a live show. You get out here, you talk about drones, get people coming in, sharing ideas. It's just a cool experience. So yeah, it's 10-11 is going to be a turning point, but I think it's going to shake up the industry because again, being on the cusp of Apple wanting people to fully embrace VR, 360 degree spherical, whatever you want to call it, video content. I think we're going to see, maybe for the first time, we're going to see some true competition for DJI, and that's something unfortunately we haven't seen. I mean, again, DJI Phantom 4 on today's date is my favorite drone. But even though it's my favorite drone, it doesn't mean that that I don't want competition for DJI. Competition is healthy within most any realm because competition can not only breed better products, more rapid innovation, but it can also create better prices. As a hobbyist, do you want to spend as much as we spend now to be part of this hobby? I mean, it's expensive. This is not a cheap hobby. I mean, it's an expensive hobby. So, having some competition come into play would potentially enable more people to enjoy the hobby. And as more people started to enjoy the hobby, then we may even start to see more competition. Cooler products that we can play with. I mean, right now we're pretty limited. DJI is great, but what else is out there? I mean, yeah, there's some competitors, and I don't want to bash anybody. I mean, you know who they are. I mean, it's just, take one of their products and have fun with it, and then have fun with the DJI product, and it's sickening how overwhelmingly better, at least on today's date, the DJI products are. So, Jacob says, what's happening on 10/11? 10/11 is a huge announcement from DJI, and I'll be covering all of the after the live event. We'll have a live show, Epic Drone Show, epicdroneshow.com, and we'll talk about it. But there's a new product being released, and again, to summarize, I firmly believe that the 10/11 product will be a drone with 4K or better camera that has a modular camera option, and possibly even something that's handheld. You know, when you're not flying the camera with the drone, something you can hold in your hand, maybe even swim with. You know, maybe it's water resistant. I mean, what we're going to see on 10/11 is right now it's somewhat uncertain, but given the timing, the fact that we're entering holiday shopping season, I think it's going to be huge. And I think it's going to be a consumer drone. And I think it's going to be something that hopefully has Hasselblad, or however you pronounce it, technology that will just really make this a huge step forward from a video quality and photo quality as well perspective. So it's going to be big. We're about an hour in here, and this has been a good live show. This is just more or less a teaser because we've got 10/11 right around the corner, and it's going to be huge. And I'll be all over it. Stay tuned to epicdroneshow.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. youtube.com/IrixGuy, because I'm going to post all the updates here. Daniel says, what can DJI do to make the drone flight better? Seems DJI is a bit confused in the product lineup. Jamie says, water resistant would be awesome if it would float too. I always get nervous about flying over water. Good thing to do, man. Anytime I fly over water, I'm 100% ready to lose that drone, because more than likely that's what's going to happen. With that said, I've flown hundreds of miles over water, and I've never lost a drone, so I consider myself to be lucky. Daniel made a good point. DJI seems to be a little bit confused with the product lineup. I don't know if they're necessarily confused. The way that I perceive DJI's recent product releases, we went from Phantom, that was their bread and butter, and they stepped outside of their comfort zone. They released something that they wanted to be perceived as more pro grades. They released that the Inspire, which I don't like. It's too big. It's too heavy. So, but then they said, well, we want to target the consumer. We don't want to target the prosumer. We want something that anybody that has a decent amount of disposable income, they can go out and enjoy this. So, that's when we got Mavic Pro. That's when we got DJI Spark. And I think they're kind of testing the waters to see what people like the most. And I think, without being affiliated with DJI in any way, I think that my perception of at least what I've seen is that Mavic Pro is probably their most well-perceived drone. And for that reason, I think on 10/11, when we see this new product, if they give it an existing name, it follows the existing product lineup, it'll probably be a Mavic Pro 2. But I think that's probably their bread and butter, but it's not completely not 100% their bread and butter yet, because the image quality, the video quality is not as good as the Phantom platform. So I think with Mavic Pro 2, they achieved that. It's going to be a game changer. And, maybe in the future, maybe that'll even cause them to obsolete their Phantom line. Who knows? But yeah, I like the water resistant. I think something being able to land on water and this, that, and the other would be really cool. And maybe something that would go underwater as well. Like a drone/submarine. That'd be cool. Fly High Guy says the only benefit of Typhoon H is modular camera. Man, that drone. Oh, I had a horrible experience. Again, bad micro SD card slot. Horrible camera performance. I mean, it looked cool. I'll give it that. It looked cool, but it was still big and it was still heavy. There was no size and weight advantage to say a Phantom. So it was Well, on that note, stay tuned until next time, and next time will probably be the evening of October the 11th, where we talk about all the new stuff. Stay tuned to epicdroneshow.com, because as soon as it hits, You'll be able to find links to order all the latest products, and obviously we'll have unboxing, field test, review, and a whole lot more. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.